Hey everybody, happy rainy Wednesday. And yeah, I'm okay with rainy Wednesdays. I'm okay when it's, thunderstorming and we've got, rain all day. It gives me a chance to actually decompress a little bit. I vibe with more of the have a cup of tea or a coffee and sit and read a book, or, sit and maybe work on my own book. Anyways, yeah, so it's been a great day so far. I hope you guys are all having a great midweek. I actually just can't believe how quickly time has gone. Like holy, I'm this coming Saturday is my last stretch for my journey uphill, the bike ride. And yeah, I just can't believe it. Like this week is just like flying right by. Friday I'm headed back up north again, and you know, it's just unreal, unreal. I haven't actually had a chance to process anything yet, but I'm sure that will come, 2 weeks after this is all said and done, and I get to sit down and think about it all. Anyways, I don't know, I want to try and do something a little different, and I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I find that when I'm following somebody or watching other people's videos, that if they all tend to seem somewhat the same, it gets kind of boring, and I don't consider myself a boring person. So I was, I was asking Google, what Google thought about, maybe something I could try differently for an update video to, I don't know, throw something new in. And very interesting, Google has a lot to say. But the one thing that stuck out for me was that it suggested to hold or interact with something relevant or funny. So the example they gave was like my helmet or a soggy shoe if it had rained. Well, I don't have a soggy shoe, but I do have my biking shoes. And I can't believe I'm actually going to attempt this. But I thought, hey, why not? Just to liven things up a bit. So I'm not sure if this is what Google's talking about, but yeah, I got my shoe. Or no, wait a minute. That's not looking at me the right way. I've got to look at it. Yes, I got my biking shoe. See? And this biking shoe has pretty much almost had it. And I think both of them are looking forward to me finishing this whole journey uphill. And if the shoes aren't looking forward to me finishing it, well, I think my body is, because my brain would like to keep going, but physically, I think my body's just about had enough, especially my hip and my knee. But I will forge on, and I'm looking forward to this weekend. I am going to be staying with my brother and his wife. I don't know if we're going to make it out on the trail for walking. We'll kind of discuss that on Friday, just because they are calling for like 70 to 80% thunderstorms on Saturday up there. And if I'm it's one thing to bike in a bush in the rain, but it's another to walk in a bush in the rain. I better say that right. Because it can get pretty buggy, especially this time of year. And I have been fortunate enough throughout the journey uphill to not have been swarmed by or bitten a lot. But this time of year is, the horse flies are about the size of a horse, and they can take some pretty big chunks. And the deer flies and all the black flies, and not to mention the swarms of mosquitoes. So I will figure that out. Not quite sure how that is going to look, but I will still, if we don't go on the walk through the bush at that point, I'm still going to be biking whether it's rain or shine. And yeah, so just a quick update on last weekend's ride. So Barrie to Midland was interesting. There was just out of Barrie, I had that really, really creepy forest, like that forest the one that the idea I kept having in my head is like the forest that Hansel and Gretel gets like lost in, and where they come across like the house with the candy and the witch and the whatever. Anyways, I just have too big of an imagination. But anyways, there was that, and I wrote a little blurb of a blog, kind of describing how that all went down. But then after that, I ended up running into a big stretch. Actually, I think it was about 20 kilometers. So the total run or the total bike ride from Barrie to Midland was actually almost 75 kilometers. I estimated it at 70, so that's kind of close. But about 20 kilometers of that, I was biking on a trail that felt like I was biking on a beach. And let me tell you, when you're biking through that fine of sand, thick, it's like you've got like, it's like you're all over the place. And like, I ended up taking my big jumbo camera, and I know that thing only weighs, like in its case, it's probably got to only weigh about 5 pounds. But I already have a lot packed on my bike while I'm going, not to mention that I had a full hydrator, 2-liter water on my back, and all of the other stuff I have in my backpack for that. And then me and my brilliant idea, I'm going to just throw my jumbo lens over my shoulder, and that'll be fine. And sure enough, 5 minutes into the trail, I hit this patch of sandy stuff, and it was just like, oh my God, just trying to keep myself going straight. The bike just always wanted to do this. And of course, the lens is just like flying around and flopping around. And, halfway through, I had to throw it on my right shoulder because like I was just starting to get I was feeling a lot of fatigue, and my hip was starting to bug me. And I think that was just because I was trying to like keep myself steady and pushing forward. By the time I got out of that particular trail, like that lens felt like it was like 20 pounds. Like it was absolutely crazy. So if anything, I think that was probably like the hardest part, because then once I cleared out all of that stretch of trail, it was actually really nice. It was a nice ride from, I would probably say it kind of tapered off to just about outside of Elmvale somewhere. And then it was kind of straight through to Penetang. It was fine. And then Penetang to Midland, of course, was all uphill. Right? So, always leaving it to the end. Fantastic. I think I got off my bike about 3 times just to make sure. And I spent my teenage years in Midland, growing up in Midland. And of course I know Penetang, but why I forgot that Penetang was so hilly is like, because I'm like standing at the bottom of the trail, and I'm just looking up at the main intersection, and there's that massive hill, and I'm like, yeah, right, okay. So anyways, that was all good. Showed up to Midland. I actually came in on the part of the trail that I wasn't expecting. So my sister, her house in Midland is on Midland Bay, and there's a marina there. And I thought that I was coming into her house from behind the marina, because there is a trail that she has taken me on for a walk before, that runs along the water there and up. and back towards Penetang. So I assumed I was coming in that way. Turns out, though, that the TCT trail came in front. So I ended up showing up at her house. She thought I was coming in from behind, and I was coming from in front, and so I ruined the lovely surprise that she had for me. She had a sign and balloons and, I can't remember what it said. I think there's a picture I put on my story, or will be, or maybe I'll throw it on this video, but it said something along the lines as, oh yay, you made it 400 plus kilometers, and she was hopping around, and oh my gosh, and it was so amazing, and it's just, I don't know. I'm really sorry, Amory. I totally bummed that up. I should have come in on the other side. But the good thing is that she told me I had to backtrack and go around to the front so that, we could kind of replay me coming in, and, then we could all act like it was a big surprise. And so I was acting like it was a big surprise, and it was great. So anyways, so yeah, there was that. And then I will make a note that I think the biking in the sand was initially what aggravated my knee, because I did feel that my knee was starting to bother me when I would get to the checkpoints. Of course, Michelle would kind of adjust the seat for me. I had a really problem because I was trying to keep my knee in a position while I was biking that it wasn't clicking or, bothering me much. And it wasn't too bad on Saturday. But when, like 5 minutes into the ride on Sunday, it was there. And it wasn't so bad at first. And I have a really good ability to block out physical pain. So I kind of just threw it in the back of my head, and I got caught up with, for me, biking through downtown Midland, Penetang, Midland, all the areas there along the trail was kind of like going down memory lane. Because like I said, I grew up there. I spent my teenage years there. And so I kind of was able to block out the pain, like just kind of thinking about, the past, and then taking all of these great pictures, and, particular pictures of certain spots that I'm fond of. Anyways, so yeah, but I don't know, I think by the time I hit Wabashine, which was not quite the halfway mark from Barrie or from Midland to Orillia, my knee started getting really pain. Like I started having a lot of pain. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll just slow it down a little. I won't try and bike as hard. But regardless, it just kept going. And by the time I got to Coldwater, I was icing it. And I mean, Michelle and I had checkpoints, which I'm gonna do a little video about how we figured that out and how that all worked. But we did have checkpoints. So there are spots that I would come out on the trail, and if I needed a refill for water, or if I needed a snack, or if I had to go to the bathroom, or, all that kind of fun jazz, we would do it then. But I definitely needed ice for my knee. And then that's when I made the decision, because Michelle asked me, she said, are you sure you really want to push yourself to bike to Orillia? And I said, nope. I mean, yes, or no, whatever. I was going to do it. I didn't care. I said, let's ice it every concession if that's what it takes. And that's what I did. So every single concession, that ice pack was going on, and I made it. I made it to Orillia. And I may be paying for it just a smidge right now, but I mean, you know what? I pushed through that. And I know that there are some people out there who love me so much that are like, I think that was just a little too much. Like, maybe you should have just quit while you were ahead. You've already biked such a far distance. It's okay. You can kind of stop now. But I can't. I need to do this for me right now. I really need to. And I know deep down inside when I need to stop. Like, I know that. And the bruising that I've had on my knee is not something that's new. Throughout this whole hip and knee thing that I've been having going on for the last, definitely 5 years, 8 years since it started, I have had bruising like that in my knee already. So, I kind of know when enough is enough, and I'm not there yet. So I'm really hoping, I mean, if I have to brace my knee, if I have to, I don't know, tape it, do whatever. I mean, I'm already taping my feet. So I'll do whatever it takes for me to get there. And I mean, it would just be easy for me, I guess, to just pop back some like Advil or Tylenol, but I can't do that because Advil actually causes water retention. And believe me, when I say I got enough water retention going on when I'm biking that distance, I don't need the added extra, water retention post, 70 kilometers in the heat. So, and Tylenol just doesn't do anything for me. And of course, I don't use anything else. So, I will just have to do it. If I'm determined to get it done Saturday, rain or shine. If it comes to the point where I need to call it quits, I will be happy because I will have made it quite a distance and I'm okay with that. But I really want to give it like 150, 200%. So, that's just how it's gonna go. And the one thing I did want to mention is I could not believe on the trail Sunday the amount of damage that ice storm, that really big ice storm or week of winter wacky weather that we got, that was, had shut that area down. I know my daughter had in Barrie, they had it really bad as well. I mean, it looked like Armageddon had gone through there. But the trails just outside of Orillia were a mess. Like, it looked like a twister had gone through those sections of forest and just ripped everything up. Thankfully, people had gone through and at least cut like openings through the trails so you could get through. There was some spots that I actually had to like lift my bike over, but for the most part it was kind of clear. But really, really amazing, like how much damage those ice storms can do, and like how the trees where they just all like canopied over the trail. And I'm assuming it's because they were so heavy with ice that they were just, they just drooped. And then now they're staying like that because that's just, they were younger trees and that's just how they're going to grow now, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so I found that very, very interesting. And yeah, so I mean, it's been such a great experience for me so far. And I haven't figured out yet how I'm gonna like put this all together once it's all done. But there's so much stuff that I want to talk about, and I just don't have enough time right now. The fact that I've been doing this whole journey on a junior bike, like a bike that's built for a kid, because of my height and whatever. So when I'm riding along these trails and all of these bikers are just whizzing by, and I'm like, I'm pushing I'm at the 70-kilometer mark and thinking, oh God, I'm just not going to get anywhere. I have to remind myself, woman, you are on like 24-inch tires, like cut yourself a break, like for, you're pedaling, a longer distance technically than they are speed-wise. So I think it's 24 inches. I hope it's 24 inches. Anyways, I think that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I'm definitely looking forward to this weekend. After I bike on Saturday, of course, I'm going to rest for the evening. But man, I am telling you, I am going to enjoy myself a mean glass of wine Sunday, because like, holy smokes, I definitely think I deserve it. So anyways, I'll keep everybody posted on how Saturday goes, and if it's downpour and lightning and thundering and the whole 9 yards, I'll have my GoPro on, and maybe that will make a cool video too. See you guys later. I'll talk to y'all on Saturday morning. Bye.